everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Lifestyle with Laura. It's October, and today we're going to have a discussion about breast cancer awareness. I have a special guest today who will share her experience with fighting breast cancer. And I'll be featuring a surprise DIY gift for her. Oh, and before we get started, I have this special gift that I want to present to you. Sharon, this is a DIY floating glass breast cancer piece that I made. And I made it because you inspired me. And women like you inspired me. I think you are the true warrior queens. So I hope you will accept this gift.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So I made this floating glass. I made sure I put on the breast cancer symbols and these beautiful roses, some diamonds, and some glass beads. And again, it's in representation of all the warrior queens.
This is such a beautiful piece. It looked like you put a lot of thought into it and heart, and I really appreciate this. This is something I would love to display in my home. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And I have my friend Sharon here with me today. Sharon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Sharon Anderson, and I'm a two-time breast cancer survivor. I have a husband and two wonderful daughters, and I'm just here and glad to be here.
When were you diagnosed with breast cancer?
I was originally diagnosed with breast cancer in May of 2013. I was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer, and I was also metastatic.
Can you explain more of what that means?
A metastatic breast cancer is when the cancer is not only in your breast, it's in other organs or lymph nodes or the bone. In December of 2015, I had a reoccurrence of cancer in my spine. The type of cancer, inflammatory cancer, there is no cure for the cancer, and I was considered stage 4 since 2013. So I continue to get treatments every 3 weeks to keep the cancer at bay.
What does it mean to have stage 4 breast cancer?
Having stage 4 breast cancer could be a frightening thing because the number itself, it will disturb you. People look at me and don't understand that I have cancer because I don't look like the typical cancer survivor, but I have metastatic breast cancer, and metastatic breast cancer spreads to other areas of your body, your lymph nodes, it could be your bone and other organs. My particular cancer, inflammatory breast cancer, it on my first diagnosis, it spread to through my lymph nodes, 36 lymph nodes, and to the left breast. So therefore, I was staged at stage 4. And with inflammatory breast cancer, there's no cure as well. So that had a lot to do with my staging. Other people that has lower staging, they may have cancer in the breast and it doesn't metastasize anywhere else, which they could carry a stage 1 diagnosis.
So when you found out that you had breast cancer, how did you give your family and your friends the news?
When I first found out about the breast cancer, my husband and I decided not to tell our children right away. My oldest daughter was a senior in high school and getting ready to graduate, and we didn't want to interfere with, her graduating her senior year. So we waited a little while, and on MD Anderson's website, there is a video for children and for parents to help explain the diagnosis. And I allowed them to watch that video. Me and my husband sat with them, watched the video, and then we explained the diagnosis to them at a proper time where we thought they were ready. And I was gonna get ready to go into chemotherapy where I would actually lose my hair. So at that point, that's when we sat them down and let them know what was going on.
What were your emotions when you first found out you had breast cancer and how did those emotions change throughout your treatment?
The first emotion I had when I first found out was I was driving from the store, and the oncologist I was with at the time said he had the results, and he asked me if I was in a safe place, and I just wanted to go ahead and hear it, so I pulled over on the side of the road, and I just wanted to hear the diagnosis, and that's when he told me I had stage 4 inflammatory breast cancer, and I just sat there for a minute because, the average person thinks of stage 4 as, you're gonna die, and that's a true feeling, is you're gonna die. I knew nothing about cancer prior to being diagnosed. And so that emotion went through my body. And then I felt fine. So that it was very confusing when you feel okay. I didn't feel sick. So it was confusing for me. I had a second opinion, so the emotions that ran through my body was just very confusing. And, then you think about your children, what am I gonna tell my kids, how it's gonna affect my family, stage 4, how long am I gonna be here? So you start preparing for a lot of things that you didn't think about prior, and you start making these small things important in your life that, you just kind of overlooked it.
So what other emotions did you have throughout your treatment?
Well, I had a lot of different emotions. Some days I would be depressed. Some days I would feel, energetic and fine. When you have cancer treatments, it takes a lot out of you physically and emotionally. Physically, it causes a lot of fatigue. You have chronic fatigue. So therefore, you can't do things that you normally do every day. And, I had an active child in the house, 2 kids in the house, and you just don't feel like getting up. And I suggest to other cancer patients to push through that, try to push your best to push through that emotion and push through that fatigue. When you have the fatigue, it affects your family because, like I said, you just can't do things you used to do. You may not feel like doing things you used to do. And sometimes it affects your treatment, affects your ability to eat. You'll lose your appetite. Okay. And that's an important thing for cancer patients, is try to eat whatever you can to keep your appetite up, because when you don't eat, it affects your lab work in different ways.
What can you expect from the first chemotherapy treatment?
You can definitely expect a long day. On the first day of my treatment, I have infusion where my treatment comes through a bag, and I have what we call a catheter port that they put in me, okay. And that's where I get my treatments done with the infusion. And it's just expect a long day because they do what they call a slow drip on your treatment. So it's a slow drip. They want to make sure your body can tolerate the treatment and not have any allergic reactions or any side effects at the time during your treatment. So it's definitely a long day. So they told me to bring a book, blanket, or whatever you need to keep yourself busy for the day.
This is all the time we have for this video, so stay tuned for part 2. We'll talk about treatment, other challenges, and resources for your family. See you then.